The Andes of Peru have always been ancient keepers of mysteries and enigmas that remain unsolved. A stone carved by the hands of two different species and a ceramic sculpture of a three-fingered being, similar to the Nazca mummies, are some of the unsettling discoveries of a tireless explorer who, for more than a decade, has been exploring abandoned and inhospitable archaeological sites in the Andes, in central Peru. Some of these findings could confirm a very ancient relationship between humans and advanced beings from other species.
And they have confirmed that it is original.
Could our ancestors have been determined to leave evidence of some genetic intervention?
It seems there has been more advanced knowledge in this region.
Could they have wanted to tell us that these other species came from the Orion Belt or from some other place in the universe?
They are trying to communicate something, and for that we need to conduct research.
This exclusive investigation is just beginning. Join us. The cross hands from Ambo. This journey was planned in great detail. A month before starting, a commercial flight makes the route between Lima and Huánuco in 45 minutes. The same route by road would take 10 hours of winding and zigzagging paths. The mere possibility of establishing a connection between the Nazca mummies and the pieces with engravings of three-fingered beings warranted verification. And the trace of the inexplicable is within a stone's throw in Ambo. And to make the most of what was left of the afternoon, our host, the explorer and tourism promoter Bobby Trujillo, took us to see an underground cave that descends 12 levels and holds a mystery inside. It is known in Quechua as Hatun Uchko, Big Hole.
Geology tells us it is natural, a fissure volcano in scientific terms. But if you start to appreciate it, this cave's morphology is triangular, pyramid-shaped.
Millions of years ago, it was a volcano.
An effusive volcano of lava flow.
From a volcano, and then it was utilized
to mold and create a pyramid, an interior pyramid. And that is what many Orthodox archaeologists who have visited this cave do not explain. Even they are left impressed.
What bold technique did the supposedly primitive builders put into practice? How did they avoid being crushed by tons of volcanic stone? This cannot be a product of nature. Well, a pyramid, no.
No, there isn't a cave in Peru, which, by the way, we have visited quite a few caves nationwide of this magnitude in a pyramid-shaped.
Let's continue. This cave, designed inside with the pyramid shape, has an origin-pending explanation, but it also records some cave paintings on its walls. We would have to go further southeast of the Andes mountain range to learn more about these first traces, these first prehistoric attempts at communication that would give us evidence of the existence of beings with only 3 fingers, who undoubtedly must have been important to our ancestors. It was made clear by the Peruvian-German researcher and historian Parzival Bin. Does it mean that the ancients saw them?
There has been, yes. Or are they still coming? There are still, we cannot deny it.
We advanced in a truck until the road ended and we had to go further to climb the Mal Mountains, almost 5,000 meters high, carrying cameras and accessories to where no other journalistic team has reached. Until an hour later, we arrived at a place that required making a decision. The final stretch was a narrow and slippery ascending path, 4 meters long and barely 30 centimeters wide, flanked by the mountainside and a 1,000-meter deep precipice. A single misstep and this report would have had a very different ending. Until finally I could see it. It was an expression of rock art on 3 levels. At the top, a disc-shaped object clearly dominates the space. Below, a 3-fingered being seems to descend. Below, anthropomorphic figures are observed witnessing this event that our ancestors wanted to record for posterity.
There is no man hunting, there is no bird, there is no monkey. What is there? No, there is nothing. There is no concept. There are no hunts or animal enclosures? No. Not in the park either. It is only a concept like cosmological, technological.
That evidence that there was also a form of life thousands of years ago and that we do not know what their culture was, their way of life, why they settled in that place.
How many generations have passed, and not only generations of humans, but of beings that may be different from us.
Of course, most of the engravings with 3-fingered beings are in the caves. They could be subterranean beings. They have settled on Earth, had more technology, and have been like teachers for the first humans here around the world.
It seems there has been more advanced knowledge in this region.
The place is remote, inaccessible, let's say, for an ordinary person. No one would bother to go and fake it as if it were true. Remote, over 4,700 lack of oxygen, an inaccessible, unlocatable place. If you don't know exactly, you can't locate it. That's hidden, as one might say.
Some might think that to draw attention to your research, you have started to reveal some pieces related to these 3-fingered beings that might have some connection with the Nazca lines. Is that so?
It's not like that because my research has been going on for years. 3-fingered beings were seen in 2013, exactly in the place called Ayancochalta. Here I have the proof, a young baby Trujillo. Behind is the rock art, the hairstyle of the time of the book, right? There it is, see? When I saw the investigation of the Nazca mummies and they called them 3-fingered, that's when I started to somewhat call them 3-fingered too, because supposedly it's a scientific vision. Finding certain pieces related to ufology is very different, but dedicating myself 100%, no.
This finding is directly related to the thousands of volcanic stones with rock paintings found 1,300 kilometers further south in Pampacolca, Arequipa, investigated and documented by archaeologist Jesus Cabrera, as we will analyze in an upcoming report. The Huánuco region has 11 provinces. One of them is Ambo. Ambo has more than 160 registered archaeological sites. Almost half are recognized and the other large part is abandoned or has not been investigated yet. This is the Buena Vista archaeological site. Here at the top, under a thick greenery, lie pre-Inca structures that were looted decades ago. Here, among the remains of a desecrated tomb, this unique piece was found, a carved stone that could be the key and confirmation of an ancient coexistence with non-human beings. 3-fingered beings like those found between Nazca and Palpa, three-fingered being similar to the Nazca mummies, still under investigation. The carving clearly shows a hand with 5 fingers and another with 3 digits. What do you interpret in this stone carving?
Look, from my perspective, personal opinion, obviously hybridization between a 5-fingered being, possible hominids with 3-fingered beings.
It wouldn't be coexistence.
It could also symbolize coexistence.
The carved stone of the crossed hands of Ambo also presents a pair of intertwined filaments that could be the double helix representing DNA. That would imply that our ancestors accessed genetic information thousands of years ago.
And they try to communicate something, and for that we have to do research.
Moreover, there is a disturbing clue about the probable origin of these beings in the Orion Belt, one of the most popular and visible constellations. The configuration of the stars in the Orion Belt seems static, but it's not. It's dynamic. Although compared to other stars over thousands and thousands of years, its alignment, the action has remained slightly tilted and coincides with the construction sites of the pyramids of Mexico, Egypt, China, and now also have a similar configuration to the carving of this mysterious stone found in the heights of Ambo, which is also subject, obviously, to other interpretations.
Notice that this is something historically very valuable. The crossed hands supposedly say that they were people after work. Some people didn't want to work, and it was like a matter that they tied their hands crossed like that, and as a punishment, they mutilated some fingers.
It is supposed that the 3 fingers are a sloth, and of course it's an animal. The coexistence of nature, that's the explanation given by the orthodox archaeologist.
In this place, archaeologists, whether orthodox, traditional, or those open to new interpretations of our past based on evidence, have a space here to investigate and support their theories. The place is located and the enigmatic piece is exhibited in the Municipal Museum of Ambo. Skeptics might say it's a recent manufacture.
It's available in the museum. This has been donated since 2019. It is already known that it is donated there. I invite the scientific community to come and investigate with the appropriate technology, to bring field experts as well, so they can see the bone remains. Because here there are bone remains, ceramic remains, construction remains, with which you can visualize. And besides, Orthodox archaeologists have visited the museum and confirmed that it is original, but they don't give it the ufological context. They give it the context as if it were an animal.
The circumstance of the finding is anecdotal. After 18 to 20 visits to the place,
the locals have told us that obviously in this sector, 80 years ago, there was a landowner here in this sector who desecrated this tomb where he found mummies with gold, silver, metallic riches and everything that was not valuable too. For him at that time, the leisure, the ceramics and the stone that was outside the tomb were left behind. So you found it face down. Face down, yes, turned over. That's why if it were like this, a curious person might have picked it up out of curiosity, but it was like this.
But this is before the pre-Inca culture, mostly. This has been, let's say, a group of nomads who wandered from town to town and developed in caves. So as far as I have some research or what I have come to understand in different books, this dates back more than 5,000 to 6,000 years. Of course, these kinds of findings somewhat disrupt the knowledge assimilated by historians and archaeologists.
Yes, it breaks tradition. It suddenly breaks the concept. That's why the pieces I have donated to culture are of interest to us. The ministry is very tough, isn't it? Let's say they don't look at it favorably, they're not interested. But if I show a common normal huaco, oh no, that does have value. But I show a ceramic piece with 3 fingers, 1 eye, an elongated skull, but it's left as just a simple piece.
In the next report, we will see that the archaeological wealth of this region is as great as its neglect and abandonment.
The negligence of its authorities.
There are certain interests, the bureaucracy that reigns in the institutions.
Look, what happens is that we lack a vision as a national and regional policy.
They declare heritage only on a paper that says natural cave cultural heritage, and go see how it is. It's a dump, it's abandoned.
It makes us feel proud because we preserve a historical past. And we feel sorry because the entity that manages that cultural center does not promote it.
And the Ministry of Culture is unfortunately very bureaucratic.
There is a passivity, a neglect, and that is truly concerning. We will also witness another important discovery. A mysterious ceramic piece with magnetic properties that will reveal its interior to the world for the first time through a meticulous tomographic examination. It's not just about ceramics, it's about interior pieces with metallic density. It's something that is not usual. Like the Nazca mummies, this sculpture has large eye sockets, prominent clavicles, a bulge in the belly in apparent gestation, and only 3 fingers.